Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous, hosted by Bruce Hutchin. I'm so happy you've joined us today, and you're going to find out a lot about whitetail hunting on the show.
This is Whitetail Rendezvous, episode number 343.
On today's show, we welcome Jay Link. Jay is the owner of Link's Wild Safaris. Jay has traveled across the world, the globe, and he's taken a lot of trophies. And he's been recognized most recently by SCI as the 11th recipient of the Pantheon Award. Jay's going to share what that award means to him. He's also going to share about how he gives back to the community. He has a foundation that he takes people with terminal illness out on a hunt of a lifetime. It's going to be a great show, and you're going to find out a lot about Jay Link and how he hunts Saskatchewan. Stay tuned.
It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. Welcome to a special episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Why is it special? Because I have Jay Link. You might know him for another reason, but Jay Link was just awarded a prestigious International Hunting Pantheon Award by SCI. And plus he owns and runs Link's Wild Safaris. Jay, welcome to the show.
Yeah, how's it going today?
It's going great, and I got to give a shout out to Pete Martin. He put us together, and I love hunting with Pete and Paul down at the Wamedy house, and everybody, hopefully they know where Wamedy is because it's right in the heart and soul of Buffalo County, where a lot of big bucks have been taken over the years. So again, Jay, thanks for Pete, thanks for that link up with Jay, pun intended.
Yeah, sure. Pete Martin and I, we've been acquaintances and friends for many years, and I know he gets a lot of those big whitetails down there in Buffalo County. He really specializes in doing that. He's got a real passion for it.
Yeah, I'm just going to give Pete a shout out, Buffalo County Bucks, Pete and Paul Martin. Look them up on the web, and it's just a fun time. That's all I can say. And plus, there's some Boone and Crockett's running around. Jade, let's talk about the beginning of Link's Wild Safari. And why I want to do this show is because I've got a lot of whitetail hunters. One, they think about hunting the West. They think about going up to Canada and chasing those big brush buck bucks up there, and you travel all around the world hunting. And so let's just talk about why you started Link's Wild Safaris and why a whitetail hunter should consider using your services. And let's just talk about that, and then we'll have some other questions down the road.
Yeah, sure. Well, Link's Wild Safaris, we're in our 8th year of operation. I actually bought a company called World Adventures from a good old buddy of mine, Steve Gilhouse, down in Sorona, Wisconsin. And he had been in the business, the consulting business, for about 24 years. He was getting ready to retire, had a great reputation, good list of clients and outfitters. So I bought him out and then rebranded it with my name on it, the Link's name, and called up my old college buddy, Jim Riley, who had been working for Cabela's Outdoor Adventures for many years, and said, "Hey, Jim, come on aboard. You need to run this thing for me. We're going to be the best. Maybe not the biggest, but the best. With the expertise that I have hunting throughout the world, whether it be plains game in Africa or the high Altai in Mongolia or in Tajikistan, we've got a very deep knowledge and on-the-ground, first-hand experience of where to go, when to go, who to go, and how to go. And we just take the unknown out of the hunt for a client, save them money, save them time. Our service does not cost anything for the client. The provider pays us a percentage of the hunts that we book, so the outfitter pays for the service. It's the same price whether you book through Link Wild Safaris or if you would contact somebody direct in Africa. So it's really a good deal for a traveling hunter. It takes so much time nowadays to plan for a hunt, get time off work and do all your research and get all the permits and make sure you're legal and know where to go, the right time to be there, the right guide. There's a lot that goes into a successful hunt, as with any hunt. So the reason I really got into it is because it's definitely my passion. It's not just a business for me. It's really a way of life. I've been born in northern Wisconsin and raised there, hunting, chasing my hounds around from the early days of my beagles, chasing rabbits to bear, bobcat, and mountain lions out west. So it's one of those things that I really get a lot of gratitude by helping other people go chase their dreams. And I love being involved in taking young people, hunting and showing them how to hunt and igniting that flame. Done a lot of hunts in the last 15 years with disabled youth. A lot of hunts. We've taken many children bear hunting, that have had life tragedies and have had cancer and are just dealing with all sorts of problems that it's just sad to think about. But to see the kids' face and to make their dream come true, to give them their hunt of a lifetime, is a big passion for me. So we've been working with people, bringing them on hunts, telling them where to go, when to go, for going on 8 years now, and it's just a lot of fun, a lot of success stories. So, yeah, we do everything from any continent, any species, any time of the year, any budget, for any hunter, whether it be male, female, youth, elder, handicapped, disabled, archery, muzzleloader, crossbow, pistol, rifle. We handle it all. So that's basically us in a nutshell at Link Wild Safaris.
So, Jay, you talked a lot about giving back and giving back to youth and veterans and disabled people. Where did that come from?
Well, I was introduced to a lady that started a foundation, started it from scratch here in Wisconsin. Basically a knockoff of Make-A-Wish Foundation. And, it's a United States Sportsman's Group. And what they do is they take applications from kids or the parents of the kids that have a life-altering issue. And, they generally short-term for this world, to put it black and white. And, everybody's trying to make their last time on this planet as enjoyable as possible. So different kids have different aspirations, and we've been able to step in and help the ones that have the aspirations to enjoy the outdoors. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I host 2 to 4 of them every fall in the September-October time frame here at my hunting lodge up in northern Wisconsin with my pack of hounds. We run bear and get a bear. So I guess it affects everybody a little differently. I've got 4 children that are very involved in the outdoors, and I see the enjoyment and how it's allowed them to grow physically and mentally and in society, and how it's made them strong leaders. And, I also see the kids coming from the city, or the kids coming from broken homes or from families that don't hunt. They just never have the opportunity to hunt. So I like to interject and show them, that part of the world. And it's a unique place when you take these kids back to Mother Earth, because so many of these kids, don't really understand. They think food comes in a package, and, if it's not in the package, it's not food. And it's amazing the difference in society. And it's when people get out in nature, how they all have a similar mindset, the peace, the tranquility of being one with nature. So it's been very gratifying for me to see the giving back and how it's affected people. So how I get involved, generally somebody tells me about a need or I see a need, and if I can make it happen, we step up and do it.
Thanks for that. And so many times we hear X, Y, and Z. We're not going to jump into the people that are coming against hunting on this show. Maybe a later show we will. But, a person such as you and a personality that's had the opportunities to literally hunt worldwide and been very successful at it. But you still have the joy of giving back, the joy of seeing a kid that's never had the opportunity to sit in a tree stand or watch your dogs run. And then all of a sudden they have a harvest, and I've been there, and they just light up, and it's priceless to me.
Couldn't agree with you more.
You think about, I'm going to twist it up, and I've got a good friend. He's in Iowa, Mike Grandstad, with whitetail stalkers. And we've talked about, man, Bruce, you've hunted up in Saskatchewan, blah, 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 blah. And he says, how do you do it? So just if Mike Grandstad from Whitetail Stalker wanted to head up to Canada and chase those big bucks, and it's 20 degrees below zero, and it's cold, but what are the 3 or 5 things that you'd recommend that Mike did before he even stepped on an airplane?
Yeah, I would say, I'm going to talk in general here. It wouldn't matter if we were talking about a Saskatchewan whitetail or chasing Lord Derby eland in Central African Republic or Marco Polo sheep in Tajikistan. I'd probably give you the same advice. We try to prepare the client. We start a deal jacket, and we talk with the client. We understand what the client's expectations are, what they're trying to get out of their adventure, what kind of hunt they want to go on, what kind of trophy quality they're expecting, how physical they want it to be, how nice accommodations they want. We try to get in their head to understand what their dream is for their trip, and then we can, so to speak, bring the right trip to the client, because there's a lot of different options to choose from in Saskatchewan. I mean, we have a lot of different outfitters that we work with up there. Some are better than others in other areas. And so, we want to make sure we put the client with the right outfitter. And, there's a lot of things that go along with when you get ready to go on the hunt. Once we've selected the right outfitter with the right price, you got to have the right gun entry forms for Canada nowadays. You got to be able to get across the border nowadays in Canada. Some of us that have had, some issues over the years, it's hard for them to get across now in Canada. So we got to deal with all that stuff prior. To make the right reservation, the right week of the year, the good outfitters, the good areas, they book up in advance. To have the right style hunt, do you want to do a stand hunt? Are you using archery tackle? Are you using a muzzle loader? So there's a lot of things to take in consideration. Do you want to hunt multi-species? So the best advice I could give you would be, to lay out on paper kind of what your expectations are, set a budget, and then talk to somebody that's been there. And that's where you get all that free advice when you work with an agent like Link Wild Safaris, because their job is to make their client happy, and their job is to fill the outfitters' hunt openings. So there's a lot of stuff that goes involved with it. I won't get into the hunter prep, because generally the hunters that come to us are pretty well prepped. I mean, they know they need to be in shape. They know they have to have the right gear. They know these types of things. And if they don't, we can counsel them on that too. But just the common sense stuff, when you go on a hunt, you got to have your gun cleaned and all that good stuff. But we're gonna take a lot of the unknowns out of the equation for the traveling hunter.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just let's stay on Saskatchewan today. What can a guy expect all in? Flights and tags and permits and getting across the border, and of course, you've got your hunt, then you get your tip. So what's a guy realistically looking at a good outfit?
The Canadian, the Western Canadian hunting has been soft the last 7 or 8 years. The whitetail population has been going through a cycle. Last year, we've seen an uptick now in harvest, game condition, game quality, trophy quality, and we stopped recommending to our clients to go to Saskatchewan for about a 4-year period, just because the deer numbers were so low. But we started sending people again now. The expectations are about $5,000 to $7,500, $5,000 to $7,500 for a 1-week whitetail hunt in Saskatchewan. That would include everything on the hunt: lodging, food, license, and tip for that price range from $5,000 to $7,500. In addition, you have to fly. The gateway to most of the whitetails is Saskatoon or Regina. Most all the traveling whitetail hunters are coming in through those ports of entry, or guys are driving up. Depending upon where you're flying from, an airline ticket's probably going to be $300 to $600 to get there. Outfitter picks you up at the airport and takes care of you while you're there. Trophy quality in Saskatchewan. I have hunted Saskatchewan, Alberta, and some in Manitoba. I went for, I think, 17 years in a row hunting whitetail there. So I hunted most of the areas and kind of understand the difference in the hunts. Generally, most of the outfitted hunts are what's called in the wilderness area. The farm country or the agricultural country is in the southern part of the province, and most all the outfitters are operating in the Burrell forest. The egg permits are generally not so readily available for non-resident hunting. So that's just a general generalization. Good caliber gun to go on the hunt is a bolt action, 30-06, 7mm, 300, something that's not going to freeze up on you. You're generally going to have time to make a shot. It's generally not a running shot. So something that's accurate, good for low light conditions. The bigger boys have a tendency to come early light and last light. A lot of stand hunting, depending upon which province you hunt. Saskatchewan is a province now that you can use bait at your stand, so that helps. Alberta, you cannot use bait on your stand. Grunting, grunt tubes, rattle, scents, all those things do work effectively depending upon what week you're hunting. Deer rut is I've seen this is a good topic. You'll see a lot of different articles and shows and a lot of opinions on this one, but my theory is the deer rut at the same time of the year every year. It really doesn't matter too much about temperature or weather or whatever. They're going to rut at the same time of the year every year. I mean, and the proven facts to that are, when are your fawns born? The fawns are born every year at the same time. So if you do the math backwards, the rut happens generally at the same time of the year every year. Now, I understand that weather conditions maybe can soften it or slow it, but they're still going to rut at the same time of the year. So my best time that I have found is I like hunting the not the first week of November, but the second week of November and into the third week of November. That seems to be the time that I've had the best success. Election Day, November 11th, I killed my largest buck in Alberta to date, and that date seems to be a real strong date for hunting Saskatchewan. A lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of stand hunting. It's a wonderful wonderful hunt. When you go there, it's kind of like they call it a mecca. Every whitetail hunter in North America tries to get into Saskatchewan in November. It's just one of those hot spots that there's no other place on the planet like it. If you want a true giant, that's where you got to go.
One of the best tips I got when I was going on my hunt in Saskatchewan, they said take your bolt apart and take all the grease out of it, because I sat literally 4 days, 23 degrees below zero, and when Mr. Wonderful walked up, the gun worked flawlessly, and I shoot a 30-06 with Nodzlers 165s, and one shot, it was done. He was probably 75 yards away from my hail bale blind. So, if you're thinking about going out there, you've got to be real specific and put the guys at Lynx Wild Safari, say, okay, let's get specific. What do I have to do to my gun so it fires? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's literally hundreds of stories. Mr. Wonderful was right in front of them. They pull the trigger and nothing happens. Your thoughts on that, Jay?
Yeah, very good point, Bruce. I've had the same situation hunting polar bear up in the Arctic and muskox and Arctic island caribou. Anytime you get in sub-zero weather and you're sitting out there for hours at a time, mechanical things will fail. And the grease or oil in your action next to your firing pin, on your bolt, you need to degrease your gun if you're going to be hunting in those kind of conditions. It's just plain and simple. It's just plain and simple. The colder it gets, the more of a factor it is. And one of the other things that I really advise people, clients, friends, relatives all the time, when you have your gun and you're changing the temperature of your gun constantly, like if you bring it in the blind and then you're out of the blind, or if you have it in a warm truck and then you go out in the sub-zero temperature for the day and then you bring it in, or you bring it in at night, or you leave it out in the truck all night, it's a big factor. The condensation from that change is terrible for your gun. It starts corrosion, it starts rust, it can affect the accuracy. There's a lot of things to consider when you keep changing that over. So I guess what I'm trying to say is either bring your gun in every night or leave it in your truck every night, but don't do both.
Yeah, I think that, and that one other tip I'm just going to share is we use Rain-X on our lenses on our scopes because it's freezing out, and the only heat coming off your body is either out of your nose or your mouth. And I can't tell you, that really messed up the beginning of my hunt. Then I went back to the cabin and I asked the guide, and then there was one other guy in my camp, and that's how I like to hunt. I don't like to hunt in big groups, and I'm just going to stop there. Those are the type of things, just what I said there. People will ask you the right questions, and if they're not asking the right questions, go find another booking agent. Your thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why we're here at Link Wild Safaris, is to answer your questions, to prepare you, put you in the best position at the best cost to be successful. And, I could talk literally all day about hunting in Saskatchewan. I've got a lot of experience there. I've shot some magnificent deer there, and I've passed some magnificent deer there. And the last thing I'd like to say about it is that, you're going up there on a trophy whitetail hunt. Most of us that are traveling there to hunt have had a lot of experience hunting whitetail and have shot probably many bucks in our home area. So we're there on a specialty hunt to shoot a trophy. So what can you expect? You can expect you're going to see a lot of nice bucks. You'll probably pass on some bucks that are probably bigger than any buck you've ever shot at home. But you need to be able to do that. If you don't do that, you're not going to shoot a Boone and Crockett class animal. I tell my clients, you should be shooting for something in the 160s. If you're seeing a buck in the 160s and you haven't shot a buck that size in your life, you probably need to be pulling the trigger on a 160 class buck. In the 150s, you need to let those things walk. And the outfitters are going to tell you the same thing of them. They don't want you to shoot them. That's not why they're conducting their hunts. They don't want 150 class buckshot. They want them 160s, 170s at a minimum. And, to get the magic Boone and Crockett number, it takes a lot on a whitetail. I mean, it really, really does. Everybody says how they shoot Boone and Crockett bucks. Well, some of the time they're not necessarily Boone and Crockett bucks. They're just referred to as Boone and Crockett. To get a Boone and Crockett buck, it takes a lot of antler, and it takes a lot of luck. So, to have the expectation of you're going to hold out for a booner, you're going to hold out for a booner, and hold out for a booner, I don't tell my clients that. I tell them 160 class buck. If it's way bigger than any buck you've ever shot before, that's what you're there for. So that's my best advice on trophy quality in Saskatchewan.
Jay, it's amazing that we're at the soft stop, and you got a couple of minutes to give some shout outs. I know you could go on literally all day where you've been, what you've done, but just take a couple minutes and give some shout outs, and then we'll wrap the show.
Yeah, well, we'd be honored to talk to anybody at Link Wilds about our business at Link Wild Safaris. You can find us on the World Wide Web at www.links.com. We've got consultants to answer your questions. We have hunts on every continent for every species that you can dream of. Most of the hunts that we're going to consult you on are places that I've personally been, camps that I've been to, guides I've worked with. So we're going to take the hassle out of bringing you there, and we're going to make you successful. So, we have a lot of clients. We specialize in mountain game. We specialize in Africa. Some of the things that are real hot right now, we're sending a lot of clients to Uganda. We're sending a lot of clients to Zambia, Africa. We're sending a tremendous amount of people up to the Yukon, hunting moose and caribou and sheep. All the species in Alaska are very, very hot for us. And then we're doing a lot in Asia. We do a lot in Tajikistan for the Marco Polo sheep, in Kyrgyzstan, the neighboring country, for the subspecies of the Marco Polo sheep, and ibex. So, if you got some time, some energy, some passion, some desire, some dreams, and a little cash to invest in a hunt of a lifetime, we'd be honored to help you.
Now, Jake, you also were found on social media, so give us your names of your, I don't want to say link, I'm trying to, your links on social media.
We're under Link Wild Safaris, and my name Jay Link. I'm on Facebook and stuff, and you can see a lot of our photos and what we do and what we specialize in. But the best way to do is just go to linkwildsafaris.com. Send us an email, go to our website, and tell us what you're looking for. Give us your personal information. And what we generally do is do a little work before we call you back and be prepared to talk to you, and then try to help you out.
Jay Link, thank you so much for being a guest on Whitetail Rendezvous. We got listeners all over North America. We got some veterans that are in country that listen to us, and I'm just thankful for all the people that do listen to Whitetail Rendezvous. But on behalf of every single guest, every single listener, thank you, sir, for being a guest on Whitetail Rendezvous.
You bet. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Stay tuned for the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. On the show, we're going to head out to Missouri. We're going to visit with Vic Wilfong. Vic was hurt in the line of duty, but it didn't stop him from hunting whitetails, giving back, and making a difference for those that have some disabilities that makes it a little bit harder to hunt, but he's making a difference in their life. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.